Hello, my name is Christine, and I am going to tell you a little bit about my experience when I was served in the military. I grew up in a normal, modern family. My mother's side served very well in the Queen and the British Army, so that was very important that we grew up with as people serving in the military. And my father also served in the United States military, and growing up with a lot of military regiment, the dress right dress, bouncing quarters on the bed, white gloves. So I said, wow, I can handle the military. I think I can do this and enjoy serving my country also. My mother would go down to city council and just tear them up about how they should be treating things and doing things correctly and have respect. And my father was the same way. He owned a maintenance company. And so he hired diversity in his business. Like back then, they did not respect people of other ethnicity. So we grew up to respect everybody for who they were and their morals and how they treated you. So I think that helped keep me a good backbone when I decided to join the military. I can make a difference, and I am strong enough to handle this being a woman in the military. At that time, the military was very heavily male. We were just getting opportunities for women to have what are called MOSs, which are our jobs, our military occupational service. All you could be was an admin, and I wasn't going to be an admin. I was going to do more. So it was very few females that I went through basic training and into the job and training. As women enlist in the military, I feel that we are looked down upon because of our abilities, strength, and our knowledge. And so it makes it very, very difficult for women when we decide to join the military and serve and have to do 110% better than the men. Or we are given the worst things to do, go get coffee. We're not looked at that we have very intelligent and strength that we can add to the military. In the military, that's how we view things, and we see how the men act and speak, that we have to be better than the worst male soldier. So we have to be dress right dress, fit shined, on point, not show any weakness, nothing. Have to be strong, and pretty much we almost give up our femininity, so we're not considered female, so it's difficult. I don't want to say abuse, but it was almost fringing on not being a professional training, more in the area of demeaning us and abusing us instead of building us up as a soldier, not seeing that we are a soldier, not a female, but a soldier like the men. And I think it sets us up for puts us in a lot of danger in that way, how we're looked upon. Nobody respects us or see us as an individual, just an object for the men to do whatever they wish. It puts us in a very dangerous spot, and it put me in a very dangerous spot in a lot of situations where I felt unsafe or what to do in those situations. I witnessed several incidents where women were put in bad situations and abused. I also was put in those positions. The men would end up cornering us into areas where it's them versus one female. We would want to go to a club or go to one of the rooms, recreation areas, and they would single us out. They would take one. Bad things happen, and nobody's there to listen to us. I several times was told the only position I need to be is on my back and naked, and try to touch me, corner me, put me in inconspicuous places where they could do whatever they wanted. A lot of my friends were put in those situations and told the same thing. The only purpose for us is to do what they want and how they want us to do and look like. I don't wear makeup in the military. They would tell me I'm ugly. I need to put makeup on. I'm a soldier. I don't need to have makeup on. I need to wear my uniforms tighter. And it's like, why? My uniform is supposed to fit me like everybody else, but they wanted to show more, so they could brush up against me while they're trying to instruct something. But they put their body up against me. I could feel their pelvic area as they brush across my bottom, or they're like come across my chest and that. And they're like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. And they would do that to me on my other friends. And we would all have these kind of situations. And these could be higher ranking officers and NCOs. This affected me severely where I wanted to just isolate myself or even get out of the military, which I did not want. I think a lot of them want you to get out. They make you feel so bad how they talk to you, what they say to you. I was about ready to get out of the military. I was getting depressed and worried and scared what was going to happen to me. And it took a lot of my strength that I learned from my parents to build on, to be able to survive and get out of that. I had to flip my thought process of, I'm not going to let them do this to me. I'm going to make my career and get out of this. And that's what I did. And I had to go focus on my career and getting in advance and get away from those situations. It was close to rape. He would corner me and fondle me, choke me out, so I passed out. So I have no idea what he did to me, but he never had the opportunity to physically put it inside of me, because I got lucky in a situation where people would walk in, because we were in like an auditorium, to which we were alone. So anywhere else, I tried to make sure I was not where he was. And so he would corner and grab me, hold me so tight where he'd have my butt up, and just say the most disgusting thing to me, what he was going to do to me. And I was 22. I didn't know what to do or say. But it was more of the fun. I don't think he could get it up. I think that's the thing. It was more of putting his power over me, making me feel weak, that I couldn't do anything, and he could do whatever he wanted to me. And I had no control. I think it was more in that control area that he had me terrified and make me get out of the military. But I didn't. These incidents continued for over 6 months. We had award ceremonies where we had to be in the big auditorium by ourselves and backstage to get it ready. Once the practice over, me and him are alone in there before and after. And it was pretty much every single time I was alone with him, he would start the groping and the touching and the rubbing and putting me in headlocks where I'd pass out. It was brutal for 6 months until someone saw him have me in a headlock, put him where I'm passing out. And then it finally stopped after 6 months. How this incident finally got to stop is when one of my sergeants saw what he was doing to me. He took me to the command sergeant major. I'm terrified because I figure I'm the one in trouble, because all this sergeant kept saying to me while he's choking me and abusing me is that nobody's going to believe you. You deserve this. You shouldn't be in the military. Women don't belong in the military. And even if you said anything, they're not going to believe you, because I am a senior non-commissioned officer and you're a little private. So this is all playing in the back of my head as my sergeant is taking me to see the command sergeant major. So I said, I'm done. I'm going to get reprimanded. I'm going to get kicked out of the military. They're not going to believe anything I say. So when I got to the command sergeant major, I just pretty much just said, yeah, he put me in a headlock and he just thought it was funny. I wanted to protect myself, because if I went any further, I know this sergeant could say, well, she's the one who was being to me. And that's what I seen in the military that short time I've been in, what happens to some other females, and them being kicked out of the military for fraternization. I knew that would happen to me because they won't have my back. So all I says, yeah, he was putting me in headlock and doing nuggies on me and, being rough. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to ask him not to do this to you anymore and to leave you alone and not to be putting you in headlocks. And then I just wanted to get out of there to protect myself, because I knew if I said anything more, he could come back to my barracks and do whatever he wanted to me. I had no protection. So he could come back and actually hurt me. So I just protected myself like a lot of military women do. We shut up and move on, which they want us to do, is shut up and move on, which is not right. I am really lucky I never got gang raped. Like, I heard one of my friends tell me that happened to one of her co-workers in the barracks. They keep their women in the barracks on the main part of the military post I was in. They were co-ed. And they tell me they went to the bar. They came back. They pulled her into the room and had a train on her. Just messed her up, tore her up internally. She was put out of the military and nothing was done to the men. And I'm just like, I thank God that we were separate from the men's where I was, because we were up in the hills with all the special training, so we had our own barracks. It was perfect. And then after all these incidences, they allowed us to move off post, because there was only 5 of us where I was. And one of the other girls was being set up for that kind of a situation. And they're like, oh, she wants us, she needs us, we're going to do this. And I think she finally said something to someone, and they allowed us to move off post to make us safe. But a lot of stories I would hear like that a lot of gang rape that would happen to other military women, and they would just be put out. They wouldn't believe them. They said they put themselves in that situation by going to that room, so it was their fault. They were put out with a dishonorable discharge. I was in the military for 8 years. I've had 2 severe sexual assaults against me. I have minor ones where men try to grope me, make comments to me, grab their privates and say, you want this, let's go back here. I know you want it, and it's like I'd have pretty much ensure I was with another individual wherever I went. When I was in the barracks, when I went to my next duty station, we were co-ed, and one of the gentlemen that lived upstairs, one of the soldiers, came down and pinned me up against the wall and was trying to kiss me and grabbing my breast, and I'm pushing him off and screaming at him. Luckily, another people came into the barracks and he let me go and he went on his way. A few weeks later, I didn't say anything because I said it to my husband and my friend, but they said, just be careful, get out of the barracks. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to get out of the barracks. A week 2 later, he was in the hallway at 2 o'clock in the morning when my friends were there. I hear them out there talking. They're telling me, you guys need to be quiet. We're all trying to sleep. And they're like, okay, cool, Sergeant. And I went back to bed. About daylight is breaking. I hear somebody in my room. And I'm like, okay, I must be hearing things. And then suddenly there's something touching me. The dude is in my room getting ready to rape me. He's got his privates out and going to rape me. I'm lucky I could beat him off. He's screaming, yelling. He ran out. The sucky part about this, the MP would not arrest him, even though we knew who he was, knew his name and everything, had his fingerprints in my room because he opened my face cream and put it on his private. So there was fingerprints everywhere, and there's, says he didn't rape you or hurt you, we can't prosecute him. Right then and then I said, I was thinking, I don't need to be in the military anymore. This is getting too much. This is too dangerous. When they can come to our room and nobody would take charge of this. My command stood behind me because I am a just right dressed soldier. My command was upset. All they could do was put a CQ in our barracks to watch the halls to try to keep us female safe, because there's only like maybe 5 to 10 of us in the barracks with all the men, and it's 3 floors of men. So my command let me move off post to protect me. I never saw the guy again, so I think maybe somebody said something to his command, and maybe they handled it internally to get him out of our barracks to protect the rest of the women. And that's the only time I've heard where the military, our command, is taking care of a woman that said they've been sexually assaulted. Because most of the time they say we deserve it. We should have done this. We should have been doing this. We should have done this. Blame me. But that was the only time a command actually stood up for somebody. The effects of all this sexual abuse and bad behavior of the male soldiers toward us in the command, I ended up with PTSD really bad and night terror. My husband would try to come to bed and touch me if I was in bed already falling asleep and go to touch and cuddle me. I would scream and fight, hit him, yell, scratch, because I thought the guy was in bed with me. I would feel his presence in the room if I was alone. And in the shadows, I would see figures coming and actually feel my colors be moved and touched. That's how deep my terror was. I could not eat. I couldn't sleep. I was a mess. And it still affects me to this day. I still have the dreams and the night terror. I still have to go through, I see 2 psychologists and 1 psychiatrist to manage the depression, the anxiety, the trauma of this. I'm afraid to be alone with men. I get scared. If I have to go do an Uber and it's a male, I'm in panic mode. I'm so heightened to make sure I'm not accosted by this guy or assaulted by him or anything. So it affects my whole life. When I joined the military, I was told this was a camaraderie. Everybody's got each other's back. We're going to protect each other. We're going to defend our country. And then actually being there and see how the males of the military, anywhere in the rank, low rank, high rank, treat female and sexual assault. And it's not always female assault. Men are also assaulted in the military also. So it's not just women. I believe it's because humans are humans. And there is no sexual training in the military at that time. Sexual harassment, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. None of that was trained or talked about what is appropriate. And now it is now in the military that they do have the sexual harassment and all the other classes that correlate with that to help protect soldiers and how for them to be able to report it. Because back then, we couldn't report it. There was no body to report it to. There was no psychiatrist to talk to. There was no, if you went to medical, anything mental, you were kicked out of the military. You were ended up being pushed out. But it's going to continue until something has changed more dramatically about how people should be treated or talked to, and it's going to take a lot more training to stop it. They need to take the men and women, if there are women that do assault too, they need to be punished as stricter punishment. They need to be removed from the military and protect the ones that are being assaulted. Unless that's done, nothing's going to get any better in the military regarding assault, physical and sexual assault. It has taken me 20 years to be able to talk about it. The shame, the embarrassment of it. I'm supposed to be strong, military, take care of myself, dress right dress, and protect myself. And I couldn't. That's how most of us feel, ashamed. We have no control. And we just want to bury it. We just want to forget about it. We just want to not even ever talk about it. It took me 20 years to talk about it. And now I advocate to other women. They have to talk. They have to get it out, or your life is going to be affected forever. And to be able to talk about it makes me feel I've taken some control back in my life. I've been able to resolve some of this insecurity that's inside of me that these people did to me. I can say it's not my fault. I didn't do this. I didn't do anything to cause this. It's all them, their choices. And that's what I'm advocating now. Whatever it is, whoever it is that's abusing you in any form, you got a voice. Reach out to me. I'll come stand behind you and help you. We need to stand behind each other to show that they're not taking our power away. It's not an embarrassment to us. We didn't do it. We don't deserve it. And I am going to push for this constantly behind anybody, male, female. We don't deserve this.